fit myself out.
Okay.
No, everything is good. I promised I'll come here today. I came.
Excellent.
Okay.
Is there something new you'd like to talk to us about?
When they launch a new products, you go around promoting it. This is what I do at the moment this week.
Hitting all the groups.
All the groups and languages in different communities. And so this is our platform, what I call the reality facts for people to do the work. And I promised I'll be here. If there is any questions about what we announced or any points.
Okay, well, I can open up our attendees can speak if they wish to. They all are allowed to talk, and panelists as well here. There's people on live stream as well. If you have a question on live stream, you can go ahead with that and put your question in the chat. And today we were talking here about the idea of preparing our matter level, our biological body and so on, for soul travel and what would be involved with that. And we're making the comparison of when you go into a running competition, some sort of test of speed of your body. Basically, you have to prepare for it. You practice and practice, and it builds up muscles so that when it comes time for the performance, you are at your peak, supposedly. So how do we do that with with the concept of soul travel? How do we prepare? Obviously, we're not going to go out running and building up our body to make our body stronger for that experience, at least as long as the body is healthy enough to support the soul to travel. And in the case of death, as I mentioned earlier, you're not so much worried about supporting the body at that point. If it's the point of death, then you're no longer trying to keep the body ticking. It's time to leave it behind. So how do we prepare for these soul journeys, to prepare to be, what was your terminology, Mr. Keshe? I had it written down here. Where is it? I said it earlier.
Plasma travel.
Oh, the become a nomad of the Unicos. And you said before that I am a gypsy of the universe, was a quote from you as well. So how do we become that gypsy of the universe? I guess it would be the simplified question.
Detachment. That's why we call the word gypsy. Gypsies don't stick to one place. Mm-hmm. They move from place to place. They're detached from a country or a nation or whatever. Gypsies travel across Europe, from Romania to Germany to France, and they go to Spain, and they go to North Africa, and they go, if you've seen them, they have a car, and wherever they are, they find a way to make a living, and then they move on to the next one. They come to England, they sell asphalt and pavements, and they go to France, they sell fruits, and they go to Germany, they do something else, and they come to Austria, they paint houses, but they don't belong, they just move on. This detachment, it's very much, when go back to what Keshe Foundation stands for. When we opened the patent, we tried to do with the government, we opened a patent and everybody said, blah, blah, blah. You saw what the King of Belgium did. They knew what this patent means. They even went to the extent of killing and whatever. And other countries see it as a PowerPoint. But to me, I was detached from it. I'm just delivering the technology and the knowledge. I didn't open exclusive companies and patent it and hide it and pay me billions. You pay for it, you get the extension. You don't pay, the teaching stops. And somehow we gone forward that way because I have no attachment. I know the power of this technology. When we gave a report to the ABN AMRO, the Bank of the Keshe Foundation, they wanted to know everything. I said, I've given my patent to the world. I have no attachment to it. And I've closed all my bank accounts except what you have. So you see what comes in the foundation, you see what I live on, and I'm detached from it. And the bank could not understand this. It took them months to analyze it. How could it be? I said, this technology worth billions. They analyze what it is. And they said, we never had the structure, but we have to accept it because it's there. We've seen it for 15, 17 years. You're doing it. Because there is no attachment. And that's the key to it. When we announced the flight system on Saturday, how many people were thinking of this and that, and we're getting so many people booking to come in. And today we launched a new product that you will see. We'll explain to it more detail tomorrow in the teaching. We had to go through all the teachings, and as I told you 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, I started putting the basis for the new technology. None of you became aware. What is this technologies? We just thought you were talking about the gases of soul and the rest of it. And now you've been hit. The truck has arrived. The systems are made. It's the first time we invite people to come into the systems. It's the first time we officially bring you in to be part of it. But if you look at it, we did it officially 3 years ago in China in a different format, where you saw the guy walking from the wheelchair, when we saw the blind guy seeing, and the Chinese officials were running around like what I call crazy to understand. And we shipped 6 units from Austria to China. And these units were a prelude to the flight system of today. You've seen some pictures of it, but now that is obsolete because the new technology is set on the structure of the work of universe. What do you call it? In what we announced on Saturday, we allow you to go in. We are getting booked literally daily now. I think in about 2 or 3 weeks' time, we'll be booked 6 months ahead. The way we see things coming, and they say the way people are start booking into coming. But now you come to Linz. You go through the process of development, of what we call it, preparation. Then you go into one system, and then from that system, you go to another system in the same room. One has the capability of flight, one has capability of enhancing the soul, that you can fly with your soul. You come back, and then you go reverse, but the climatization to be able to back to life, because this period of 1 hour, whatever you started, is like a dream. It was not available to us. Some of it doesn't make sense because we don't have the knowledge. We could not share the knowledge. But if you go now on the Keshe Foundation store this minute, you see a new edition added. Read it what it says. Remote. Now, in next few weeks, once we complete this cycle, we don't tell you it could be next week, it could be 2 weeks from now, we don't announce it. We can reach you where you are. You don't need to come to Linz. You are in North Pole, you get stuck in the ice, we can get you out. You are in Australia, You want to go to New York, you can do that. This is a temporary development. We have to get people to see it. We have to get government to accept it. Because we are used to traveling 18 hours, 20 hours on a flight from one point to another. We are used to traveling in a car for 3-4 days to get to one another. Now it's a new vehicle. It's a new advanced technology. And you tell me, how do you can get me from North Pole to Lens when I'm stuck? It's very easy. I prepared you years ago for it, but you never saw it. I explain this in more detail in teaching tomorrow, but primarily go back to very, very early teaching. I told you, you want to find the position of your soul. Get ahead. Through the structure we set up, we prepare you for flight from Sydney to Vienna in less than a minute. How long does it take for me when I speak to you till you hear it? The technology is that advanced. And now, if you want to shop on the store, you can buy tickets for it. We want 200 people to register that we can set up everything up, and we start in the time it says to be appointed to bring you in. Or in the next steps, which we see is going to take a lot of negotiation internationally, we have the technology. It's not something to be developed. It's developed. It has to be framed. You don't even need to come to Linz anymore. You want to fly from Sydney to New York for breakfast and for a tea break back to Tokyo is possible. When we developed the technology of satellites, this was part of it. And in maybe 2 years' time, we do the same thing with positioning on the moon or positioning on Jupiter. Now, when I say the new break technology has come in, you do not know what juggernaut has hit mankind. It's a massive iceberg. If we go to teach people step by step, this is the new machine, we take you for this and that, it would have taken me years, as I said in one of the teachings in the past few days. If we spend so much money and time trying to clean up the CO2 for the mess humankind has created, oh, it would be a lot. We're concentrating on bringing this technology very rapidly forward that you don't stop using the car. The percentage of drop of the transportation of cargo goes literally to zero. The technology for it is there. Go back in the teaching of past, the first 2-3 years, I explained that, and I realized people don't see it. It was, as my son always says, flew over my head. But now go back to the first teachings, then you see what I told you is to come. We have to come to an agreement with the Austrian government in the next few weeks that they open a customs in Keshe Foundation headquarters Linz, where people come in, they're allowed to come in. Because you're here in one instant. Technology is that advanced. And now, when I say it's a technology you've never seen before, we prepared you for it. Go to the store and see what it says. You have now 2 types of things. A mobile and from Linz. And we just allocate the first 200, and that's it, because from then on, we have to handle governments around the world to go in bigger numbers. because you can go from, as I said, from Africa to New York in seconds. We are not releasing this technology to public. It's too what do you call it? It will make a lot of complications. And from the flight from Sydney to New York, you have a cancer balance of the body because you appear in a different direction. It's already done. Now you understand what juggernaut has hit humanity. We said the biggest revolution in the science of the man was discovery of wills. When man achieved to make a will, his life changed. It wasn't more donkeys and four legs and him walking. And the way to carry changed. This is another change, of course, for humanity. Discovery of the active plasma. Scientists up to now always try to change molecules and move one atom to atom. They never realize atom has a soul. If you move that soul, the atom will move with you. It doesn't matter where you go, it takes mutation out. I'm not interested to carry you with your shirt and with your wallet in your pocket. I'm interested to carry you as an entity of the soul. When you appear in New York, you're there. It'd be very funny if you're in shorts and sun hat on the beaches of Australia and you appear in New York in Center Square with the snow, with those clothing you had on the beach. One is in the middle of the summer and the other right in the middle of winter. Now you understand. Man will be taken. We have brought the technology forward this way. The other will change. The change is here. It's not going to be here. Today, what we call the most advanced systems man ever known are in Europe, are getting positioned for the first number of people to go through it next week. When we see, people understand step by step. We are going live presentation from Austria. Rick knows the way we did 129. We kept the cameras going. We keep the cameras going. We are open enough. We can accept the failure. We can accept the success. We can accept what needs to be changed. So, if you were worried what's going to happen, it's happened. I was just talking with a Nova Ciência this morning, and I was told that they talked to their parents yesterday that such a technology has been delivered to by Keshe Foundation. And the father who works in the church, he said, they said, when the time of crisis to come, the Antichrist will bring such a system because it shows the crisis on his way. So, have we become Antichrist or have we become the Christ? And so we need to understand. It's not anymore making nonsense. It's not a bed med and made bed and made pans and rest. Can I go in the system to cure my cancer? If you go from here to another destination, your body has to change for it. It has to go through the process of the soul transformation and the souls of the physicality and the body together. And in that process, what doesn't fit will be adjusted. Maybe you need more cancer because your soul is talking different than what you're talking with your lips. This evolution was not possible if Mitra was not amongst us. And you will understand very soon what it is. And you will see the change. We have to sort out a little bit. And as we said, the first 200 people who book, who will ship you home, doesn't matter wherever you are, as long as you have a very good stereo Apple or Samsung or whatever headphones with the system which is actually perfectly working, you can be moved. People who go into the system in the last stage will be given their mobiles locked in a given position. And they can go anywhere in the universe and bring them back. Now, this is the practical side of the Keshe Foundation teaching, which Rick runs. I will go to understand the practicality of this. It's a change, a fundamental change. It's not just a test flight. It's something which we worked for years and years. And now it's possible. Because we have taught a number of scientists which we trust the technology to be able to bring that transition. Some of the people who go through the system are Keshe Foundation employees, but nobody knows them. We never announce who they are, what they are. They're knowledge seekers, been for years. And we have mixed them in the structure that we know what is needed. It's just like, when you buy a car, they do a pre-test before selling it. And the team which makes it, our teams are part of this group which are going through, but nobody knows who they are. Because we have to have the data, we have to have a confirmation of what's going on and know how good the system is. So you will see a bigger picture in the coming time in the next few weeks. We're not going to waste our time with what they're doing as world leaders. We change the position. And every structure is here for us to do our work. We set it up that way. Advancement in satellite technology is for this planet. Soon becomes another technology behind it that will come out of the Keshe Foundation structure. You can't use the satellites to go into Moon and Mars. We introduce a technology which is already existing and fully understood by the universal community, part of. How do you think these UFOs you see in the sky turn up to all come to Earth? They don't end up somewhere else. It's not coincidental. They're preset to be the same as what you preset to fly a plane from London to New York. But that's a big risk. That technology already exists. In a way, you didn't have it. Now you have to subscribe to it to be able to use it. And the subscription is mankind has to accept these. We'll talk about more of this in detail in tomorrow's teaching and thereon. And we set the course for the change. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Okay, this is our big opportunity to ask Mr. Keshe a question.
I have a question or two.
All right.
I would think not, but is there any advantage to people that have been around the foundation that they know about nanocoding or the star formation or this or that, about the technology generating power, or the man on the street that would just go into the unit. Is there any advantage in having, maybe some of us didn't get much of the knowledge, it either went over our head?
Not really, but in a way, we thought that there are different aspects of the application can be used by math. But when you look at the new space flight system, carries everything which you just spoke about and we've taught over years. I didn't teach anything which was not to be used by math. It's just that you have to understand where it fits, how it fits, and how is applicable. We're not going to fight the Rothschilds and the control they have over the financial affairs of it and the Illuminatis, whatever you call them. We develop a technology they have no control over. Financial control becomes irrelevant. We're not fighting. You've seen Keshe Foundation always kept away from fighting these people, working with these people, because we know why you need to work with a peasant. This is how level they are. The structure will change, and you will see it. And it's there. Mankind has to understand this technology step by step. Otherwise, it becomes a magic. And then those magicians who call themselves religious leaders and what they call themselves, whatever, will abuse it. I've done a beautiful job. I brought the teaching right that millions of you have learned, knows. That nobody can fool you. You know we did what we did with Boss when he announced the new battery for, what do you call it, his cars. And we just sent a notice to Tesla. This technology belongs to the Keshe Foundation. It's already patent-free. You cannot claim a patent. We gave them 7 days, and within 7 days, they took the claim on. The option is still there. You still can get in the car. The option is still there. You can get to the airport. The option is still there. You still can go on the rocket technology. Maybe a few of us, may out of several billion of us, if they can sort themselves out. But it has to be there because something, you know, you go to these, what they call shows, where it's an exclusive club and the guy comes with the Rolls Royce and the Bentleys and all the Spitfires or whatever to get on a carriage to race a horse with like a chariot. Nothing has changed. 2,000 years, 3,000 years of development, we still are the same. We just made the box more fancy. A little bit faster. On the chariot, at least was giving you fresh air and everything else. You could see the scenery. We will have the same. People will still run these, what we call four-wheelers on the streets because it used to be sentimentality. You don't need to go to a supermarket. If you need to go to a supermarket to buy something, do I need to wait for a bus? Do I need to wait? Supermarket gives you facility to the location. You go from home there, a few seconds, and you're back. This is a reality. You can never change it. It's built in the systems we already developed. It needs to be expanded because man has to understand to be able to expand it. The time of what I call time wasting, as I said in teaching yesterday, it takes us around about door to door, about 18 hours to travel from China to Europe every time. By the time we get to the airport, by the time we We go through the flights. We have to hang on in some airports just to catch the next flight, then going through the customs and then driving home. Now we can do the same thing in seconds. And go back to the teacher. Here's it. I keep on telling you. You just have a good pair of headphones, headsets. You'll find a position of yourself. That teaching, that time is for today where the technology is delivered, and this is what we put it in the shop. You're in Hong Kong, you want to be in London, you want 18 hours of flight, or you want 18 seconds of flight. In Hong Kong, you look Chinese. You want to come to England, nobody knows you're Chinese. Through the elevation to understanding of the word, you're a good British man with a hat on, top hat, and everything else. But inside, you know, you are Chinese. And this is why I tell you, when people go into the systems, we know who is not from this planet. They're not coming there to fool us. They're coming there to find themselves, to find a way back home. We'll see many of them in the new enhancement center. And when they come out, they still come out as a human, but they know what they don't know who they are and what they are. We don't let nobody in the flight zone. Go to the shop. If they want to come to Lens, it's too far. Book your ticket, they bring you to Lens. It's 13 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. And we only accept 200 seats, no places, because we have a reason for it. You don't have a flight time, you don't have anything. You go in the mine and make a connection with us. You go on top of the Empire State and make a connection with us, or you hide under your bed. As long as you're mobile, your headphone is connected, I got you. It's not theory anymore. It's the reality of the fact of new technology. And it's a combination of everything we have taught you. Any other question?
Well, we have a knowledge seeker in the chat, Steph, who says, I will order this mobile plasma flight, and waits for the teaching tomorrow, the German translation of Mario. So we already have a lineup starting, Mr. Keshe.
It's there. It's there. It's open, and we have to bring it. We have no government who can make a decision. That's why I said we set up one nation, one planet. We decide as nationals of this planet how we run our affairs from now on. You are not aware of what has just come up since last Saturday. New cycle, a new beginning of one national, one nation, when you can travel. Localities can tell you, this is what we want from you, come. You get in a bed with a virus, corona dying in Hong Kong. You get on it, by the time you get to New York, there is no sign of corona because you go through the plasma transformation. But you have to understand, what is the bigger plan? Why it's not just for this planet? If, let's say, this planet gets hit by a meteorite, we can extract all the citizens instantaneously. This is the capability of this technology. If you're a father, son, and a daughter, and a mother, and you want to go from a snowbound Norway to beaches of California during the winter, yeah, we can go in and come back in the afternoon. But we have to secure the national securities. We have to secure what we call abuse. Some parameters has to be put up by collective governments outside what are called genocide offices of United Nations. We have to establish a new understanding and program structure, which we already have as Universal Council on Earth. Decision will come out of them, how it will be, and the governments will follow. We need 200 people to book, and it's going to be known by the next few days. It'll be fully booked. We take you up, we land you where we want, and then in the future step, you decide, I want to go to New York. You don't need us. You paid your subscription to the satellite company, the telephone company. You choose. Nobody tells you you cannot call Canada or United States or Africa. In the next few years, this is a right, not a privilege. It is the right of every man to have access to everything which is given freely by this planet and the universe. And this new system is the beginning of it. It takes you a few months, few years to learn it, and then it becomes like, you remember in 1990s, not 20 years ago, when we had the first mobile phones, it was a suitcase of battery and then more handset only had at home. Hello. And now you see it's the size of peanuts in your pocket. We have to let the man to develop, otherwise it will become a gift which man will abuse. The new dawn for mankind has come. How mankind will do it will be very interesting. Any other question?
I wondered if Steph wanted to say something. She also mentioned in the chat, it was my wish and now it is there. Thank you so much.
Yes, because I really, because of my illness, I'm afraid to come to Linz, and that it
What is your illness?
I have hypophysis adenomas and a genetical problem that my enzymes, my neurotransmitter, are too. The enzymes are too fast.
Active or active?
Too active and too fast. That means that I always have to take medicine like amphetamines because I don't have. In former times, just the last years, I had a lot of sports, and I always have extreme sports to arouse my neurotransmitters. And after my illness, I couldn't do the sports, and now, I find out with a genetical test that I have this problem. My father had this problem too, and he has a Parkinson. And I have the same problem with the neurotransmitters. Somebody has Parkinson, and I have this depressions, and I always have to take amphetamines to be awake. And my adenomas, my hypophysis adenomas, all my hormones is in the hypophysis, and that means sometimes too much, sometimes too less, and it's unbelievable.
I tell you something in a very short word.
Mm-hmm.
Take your flight.
I do. I do. I have so much.
We do not know what you'll come out with, but take your flight. You might find out the soul will be slightly different when you land.
Yeah, I will do, because I have so much stuff from you. Is this the ski, the lunette, the test.
The thing is, let me explain to you.
Yeah.
We do not claim anything.
No, sure.
And this is what we say is a test.
Yeah, right.
And on the other hand, if you remember when we gave the glasses out, we put those maybe 100, 150 glasses out, plasma glasses.
Right.
We got maybe 5-10% responding back when they used it. And they were waiting to see that they see the other side of the planet and the rest of it. But those who responded back to us, which the souls were doing it, gave us the answers we wanted, which allowed the vision system to be developed.
Okay.
And we receive information from what we want. We launch certain things and we see what it is, because all gets applied in these systems and technologies which are coming out. A lot of work has been done for these things, but it's what we call the next step in the evolution of science.
Yeah.
I call it a plasma wheel, if you like it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's maybe in transportation from one point to another, you don't need to come to Linz. If you wait, you say you want to just experiment it. If we can do it and can be done, in that process, you might go through the transmutation of neurosystem. Then we want to learn from you, become what I call test subject.
Yeah, I would.
This is something we want to understand. We opened it today, but we announced the launch after the test. Everything is done that people can do. Then once we complete this cycle, then we launch what we call plasma travel. And we already pre-planned this in the setting up the company, Keshe Foundation Sales and Keshe Space Technology. We have the rights to sell tickets, and everybody thought we were joking. Now we have the rights, we are doing it.
Perfect.
And it is time to see what the next step is. We allocated 200 seats for this job, and we would like to have a husband and wife together. That we want to see two friends going together. We want to see brother and sister going together. That how we can do, how it's done, that everything is correct. So let's see what comes up. We've opened it. We've opened it. The store is there. You can do the booking.
Yeah.
And when we are ready, we announce it. But there's only 200 seats. We won't allocate because that takes a lot of setting up. We want to move 3-4 people at a time in different points of the planet to one place or to different places, and then build up this into the satellite business. Let's see. The future is very bright.
Yeah, right. And here the glasses, the test glasses I had, it helped me so much with the rest of my depressions. Since 3 years, I'm studying your teachings, and I had really hard depressions. I didn't want to live. And then I started with your, Ganses, whatever, and I have made so much, it comes better and better. And the last depressions went away with the glasses. Yeah.
They are said that way. We know. We had this report from a couple of other people. They are said to elevate the soul in a way through it's not a vision through the eye, it's the vision through the eye of the soul. Yeah. And that's why you feel different. Where are you from?
I'm from Munich.
Munich. We did preliminary test on these for a change of depression and elevation of the soul, and what do you call it? MS, fibromyalgia, what do you call it? CFS.
Yes, chronic fatigue.
Yeah. We had, when we did the first series of tests in Holland, we had a lady volunteer. She has not worked for nearly 20 years. She used to work because of the regulations half a day a week, and she needed the rest of the week to recover, to be normal. But she couldn't go shopping. Everything was impossible. Within a very short time, few weeks, she went back into the full-time. She started traveling. And I've said this before, around about Christmas, after we finished with her, she sent me a message. I would like to meet with my daughter. Mm. And I said, I'm coming to Holland because I used to go there more or less regularly 2-3 times a week. And I met with the mother and daughter just before Christmas. And I said to the daughter, what is wrong? How can I help you? He said, nothing. I just wanted to see you, to thank you that for the first time since I was born, I can eat my mother's cooking. She never had the energy to cook.
Oh, yeah, I understand. It's my problem. I can't leave my flat here since 2 years. No energy. Yeah,
no,
yes, I understand.
Yeah. And she's back to full-time work. And the girl, she was about 20 years when I saw the daughter. Mm-hmm. And she said, that's all we came here for.
Wow.
These kind of things we've done a lot. We've done a lot with fibromyalgia, CFS, 100% reversible. 100%.
It sounds good, and I know because
we know good. We've done hundreds of cases.
Yeah, I'm sure because I have a lot of experiences with your cancers and whatever too. It saved my life.
I hope we'll get this sorted too. Anyway, we go back to what we came here for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
What is important is the launch of this new technology, as we said. And now we announced what we call plasma travel and what we call the system. People will go through it. The first 10 people on Monday have already been chosen to be. We went to the German group because we had to understand cultures. And we asked the German group that if a number of them come together, that we allocate a certain day for them to go through, that we can see the response and record the details of it through the structure of the system. We have asked the Italians the same, that now with what we announced today, in very short time, we'll do this, what we call a mobile transportation, mobile system to do with a flight. And hopefully next 12 months or so, we do what we call from point to point, that you can choose where the points are. It's more or less becomes like the distribution points. We allocate systems in certain places you can go to. Then it has to be sorted with what they call governments, port of entry. Maybe we allocate these positions in airports of today. We see that quite feasible, that you come in through and everything they can check. And then in the future, as the technology expands, we see the next levels of it. And the changes here, we cannot change it. And as I was talking to some of the knowledge seekers recently, it cannot be avoided anymore because the full package is here. And we have set everything up that when you travel from, let's say, Australia to New York, you can use the Keshe coin as a currency if you want to use it. You travel with the structure of the Keshe Foundation, you will travel with the structure which is already preset. Now you know why we brought the Keshe coin here. You don't need the dollars, you don't need the euros, you don't need anything in your pocket, but at the same time, we back it with the technology we have, which means when you spend it anywhere, is backed by what we call the manufacturing and the profits from the income of the company. American dollar used to be backed by gold, and gold became valueless in a way. It was so much of it. Cash coins will go that way, but this time it doesn't lose value because it comes from the work and from the what we earn out of what we produce. We'll see. There's a lot of things which you've seen in the background now with this new technology last week. Now they become applicable. And we are setting everything in the background with it. And be prepared for a lot of changes and a lot of problems with the governments will come because they want control, but there is no control because technology is in the hand of people. We've done a very good job. As I said, if the Chinese 5-year-old girl can do it in the kitchen, scientists and laboratories of NASA and nuclear centers can do it too. But now both the child and the man has the knowledge. This new phase of transportation is very simple for those to understand. I'll explain it more in tomorrow. The way we prepare you in LINS to go through the 3 sets of work before and after, we do that through your headphone. So we prepare you for the flight. It's not just that to go. And every time you go to take a flight, you have to be prepared for it. That the soul of physicality and the physicality of the man are ready to take that journey. They go together. That's why you go through these 3 steps. To harmonize that you don't leave one piece behind when you go into the system. Then comes a question, do we need hospitals? Do we need health centers? Where during the duration of the travel, you have already been fixed. These are universal travel systems, not a bad travel system. Any other question?
Hello, Mr. Keshe. This is Mosfet speaking.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. So we are planning to adapt the Bengali public workshop for Saturday.
Pardon?
And
Can you tone down? I hear bits of you. You're in a very loud. Can you?
Okay. I'll speak slowly.
Yeah. No, your noise is too high. If you reduce the volume or the volume on your system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this better?
Yeah.
So we are adapting the Bengali public teaching workshop for Saturday to have both Hindi and Bengali together. And if you come during that workshop, then we will translate your.
You haven't invited me. Tell me when, where.
It will be like 3:30 CET. Is it okay for you? That's why I'm asking you.
When? This week, this Saturday, Sunday.
3:30 CET. That's when we start.
When?
What day?
Saturday.
I'm in the test center.
3:30. Is that?
I am. We're prepared to do this in the evening because during the day we are on a test flight test. We are in the center. We're just setting everything up for it.
Yeah.
I cannot break away.
Yeah, it will be late for us because. What time are you free? What time are you free?
We don't know. This weekend. I mean, we are launching on. What do you call it? On Monday. And this weekend, the whole of the Keshe Foundation team, we are all on the run with these things to do.
In that case, let's do it the following Saturday.
Don't
Maybe.
take my Saturday and Sundays. I have enough.
Okay.
I prefer to
Okay,
be
so
on a
then-
Friday,
Okay.
on a Friday,
Okay.
on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that.
Okay, so I'll give you a couple of options for
Yeah,
Friday or
no problem.
Wednesday. Okay,
No
thank you.
problem. Thank you very much.
Perhaps you could bring questions into the Knowledge Seekers workshop tomorrow and have a direct translation into the languages you wanted to. In fact, you could set up as a language translator for that
Bengali
workshop
or Hindi. Yeah, that's a
if you
good
want
idea.
to. And you can get in touch with me if you want to do that. It's a pretty simple process, and you get your own little Zoom room where you do your translating, and anybody in the Zoom who wants to listen to your language can do that and still
You
be
go in the
part of
fish tank, we
group.
call it.
Yeah, it's like a
You go in
bubble.
the fish tank. Bubble, yeah.
Your own bubble.
This happens if you know what a bubble is or a fish tank. Wherever we go in different countries, in some of the conferences, you get the simultaneous translation. And for it to be done, they put a box opposite to me where the translator sits in a fish tank. And all I see is bop, 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 but it continues to translate. We call them the fish tank. For simultaneous translation. Now you have for this to Keshe Foundation. Who does it? German do it. The Brazilian do it now.
Yeah,
the
the Portuguese and German right now.
Yeah.
Possibly Spanish coming in soon, and a couple of other
Italians.
Mm-hmm.
Italians, if they get the Stefania sorted out, yeah.
Yep, or whoever they are using for their translator.
Yep. Yeah, but this new system we offer as of today and will be offered from Saturday will bring a change in transportation and transmutation. And people who come with us or they come to like Lids as part of you will be, you come with no preset condition. You go in with what your soul has, because you might have a lot of ideas, what you want to do, but in fact you don't want to do because something else. We will ask you to, some of you, to do certain type of flights for us. I'll explain this in more detail tomorrow. Is that in one system we ask you, which we know is a dimension, could be dimension of physicality for you or a strength, to go to your family somewhere in the world. Your brother, your sister, or best friend, or whatever. And let's say have a dinner with them, as I said to the Italians yesterday. And you go from, let's say, Rome to New York to see the cousin. You have a meal with her and try to pick something up. A bottle of wine, a fork, a knife, whatever, to show you've been with them. Take a picture and hold the picture in your hand. And then when we bring you back, we want to check, we want to see that you come back with a bottle. The systems are set to do this. Now you understand, as I said, why we launched the material enhancement unit. It's not that making you gold is what you were all waiting for. It was for materializing when we bring you back in what the dimension will be. Because a pot doesn't have a soul, or a fork or knife has a soul in a different way as we talk. But now we want to be materialized. In the next system, we ask you to go and see your mother or your father who died 30 years ago. You can't do that. Now it's not waiting to dream, as I said last night to the Italians. Now you decide the connection. And if the mother is there to respond to you, maybe she's asleep, we call it, or maybe she doesn't want to do anything with you that time. But if you do, ask Mama for dinner and sit down and have a bottle of wine with Mom as you can dictate a dream and see if you can bring that bottle back. It will never come back. Because it was not created in the dimensional matter state. And these are the tests we want to do. We are not coming here just to go in to test. We are here for us to understand a lot of things, adjust the systems, and bring man to a new dimension. And then we'll see what's the next step.
So, Mr. Keshe, is it true that there's two sort of basic approaches to this procedure? One would be to set your intention and have attention on certain aspects that you want to bring out, let's say. And the other way is just to allow the soul to decide and not to have any preset intentions.
But you have to understand what a very clear definition separation between the two. The intention and detachment. When you go into these systems, you have to be detached, but know what's your intention. Any intention which is attached to anything physicality, at this moment in time, you might see problem with it. Listen to what John Bevan said on Saturday in American Teaching. You just listen to the words, and you don't think in the background why he said things and the way John speaks. I stood in front of John when he went through the system. I watched a change in the physicality. I watched a change in emotion. I watched a change in his every aspect. And those data, we brought knowledge base from all over the planet to do different tests without them knowing. And then he tells you it's like falling in love. When you fall in love, you become detached. And that's the emotion of the matter. So when you go in the first chair, he explains to you very, very clearly. It's just a feeling of not just a kiss on the cheek, he says. And I watched many knowledge seekers going through these processes. I watched Chinese military man, the most powerful man, going through the system and coming up the most humblest man I know. I've seen people with a fear going into the systems and coming out, finding hope. This transportation system we delivered, and now we are going through it. We gave you the power generators. You waited for something to give you a discount or reduction of having the power. The flat valves were given to us power generators for the plasma technology, and I kept on telling you. Now you see them in a flight system. They are there to power. I'm not interested in the pollution of this planet, because I know when a new technology comes in, nobody uses cars or plane up in a few years' time, and it doesn't die its own, so nobody gets more ill if it will happen. And we'll see the change. And as I said, Monday, Tuesday, and most of next week is getting filled up and it's filled up into July. We're getting bookings. But those of you who cannot do, look at the new, how they call it, option we have released this month. We don't need you to be in this to make the first travel to this and back home. But make sure you have a very good mobile phone with a very perfect headset. What we see in the future, as I said, the implant systems in the body that directly works with the soul, we can think of when you travel. That's feasible maybe in 5 to 10 years. Instead of using the stereo systems, so already built in the stereo already. Any other question?
Hi. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you say
So-
who you are and where you're from, please, for Mr. Keshe?
I'm Selena, from Georgia, USA.
Yeah.
Mr. Keshe, I told you before about my experience about the spaceship.
Yeah, your experience many people have had this experience. These experiences by many people has been experienced.
Yes.
And I listened to your talk before, and if you were in my seat, I hear these things quite regularly from different people in different shape or form.
Yeah,
They've
I
been
understand.
through. So we see a lot of people go through the phases. As I said, elevation of the soul and travel, the way we have brought out, is not exclusivity of the Keshe Foundation knowledge. And
Yeah.
when we claim that, we have come to arrogant to the. This is the knowledge that once some people through the strength of the soul can test, and some people by the mistakes they make, they lose it. And that's a very clear cut. So many people, not just this generation, many generations before and many generations after will feel, because when you get the elevation of the soul to a level, you can do things. Part of it is because we reached that point. There's a beautiful Chinese proverb. I always use it. It says, hardship make you think, thinking make you wise, wisdom makes you rich. Humankind has been through too much hardship. And in some point in that hardship has become wise. And in that wisdom sometimes come rich to be able to use the wisdom of the universe. So it's not exclusive. Christ did on the cross. And we might get excited because it's our experience. We accept it because that is a reality. This is why I said when people come up the flight system zone in Linz, and the people will travel with us from their destination to Linz, they tell us a lot of things, or they come up with a lot of things. We accept it because that has the whole purpose, elevation of the soul, for you to be able to do things you did not know you could do before. But it's not exclusive.
Yes, but my question is now, like a few years, when I woke up in the morning, I felt, if you, do you know the cotton ball, small cotton ball, if you put inside one rice, inside, how the rice feel? I felt like those early in the morning. I felt I'm not in the bed, I'm inside something.
It is,
and then, like a cotton ball.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we have members of the top guys in Keshe Foundation, and other people have watched them doing it without them knowing. They do all sorts of things. They've reached that maturity of soul. What you tell, what you explain, we see a lot of. Don't forget, I sit in a position that all the information comes up to me somewhere, somehow, or people, what is been achieved, what is done, what is going on. And in Keshe Foundation, we have many people who experience different way because they feel for security, they feel for comfort, they feel for pleasure. And you reflect it in how you want it. Maybe being in a cotton wool is the way you've been brought up and it's a comfort. So you reflect it in that way and you become the rice. And we have people who go through different emotions. This knowledge is the knowledge of universe. It's not exclusivity. We're just teaching more to become that way, to become independent without being controlled. And some of us achieved it before at the age of 8, 9. I could do everything which I'm trying to do for you today. Traveling at young age for me was just a hobby in the morning to do it or in the evening to do it. And then I could ask people, did you see me? Do you remember? And they said, how do you know that? Because I was there. It's what we elevate, what we understand. And it's not exclusive. We're just showing the tools that you can do, and any man will do that. Any other question?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark has a question in the chat here. He says, could you help us to understand strengthening of the soul versus enlightening of the soul?
Pardon?
Mark wrote in the chat, could you help us to understand strengthening of the soul versus enlightening of the soul?
It's not verses. They usually come together. When you're enlightened, you become stronger. When you're enlightened, you see the different way. And when you're stronger in the soul, you become enlightened, you shine, you get access to more.
And it's all
Buddha, this says, Buddha did this. Buddha is one of the only what I call prophet messengers who managed to get to part of this. Because Buddha more or less became one of those detachments. Not attachments. Moses attached himself, Christ was attached himself to something very pleasurable. And Muhammad got attached to both pleasure and the power and material world. Buddha was one of the few partially went away. And he received both enlightenment and strength.
So how does the word elevation work into that? Would it be part of the enlightenment? And
yeah. It's part of both enlightenment and strength. Or that's the way we see it, or that's the way it can be explained.
So when we wish for the elevation of others, does that mean in a way we're wishing that they go through a strengthening of the soul, which might be a...
We did again enlightenment, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is like a light. You have to shine on something, and if he absorbs it, it lights up. You know, I explained this to one of my children some time ago. When you have children, there are things you buy in the market, which is a butterfly or a star or a moon, and you put them on the walls and the ceilings. You can literally now buy a package with the whole solar system in it, and you stick it to the ceiling. During the day, it's just what it is. But what it is during the day absorbs energy, and when the night comes, it all lights up. It's the same with the soul. We absorb so much, and when the time comes, we enlighten, we light up, we share, we give. No difference. I always said I detach myself from material world. I live a comfortable life, but I don't live like a hermit. But my job is to enlighten day and night, to give for it that when somebody sees it, they'll be enlightened to it done. Like the lady just told us. We made a glass because somebody down there, the soul needed it. And then you can see how it works. That's our job. We could make exclusivity of these classes and we can send millions of it. But it was there done in a limited to gain the knowledge, what we were looking for, and it can be added to the system which is there now. If I would have commercialized Keshe Foundation technology, we could have put all the millionaires in the world to match what I do. But to me, it doesn't matter. The richer you are, the less you take with you, and always send that. When you're a pauper, you die on the street, they just put you in a bag. When you're a rich man, they take you and all the debts under your nail. You're worse than a pauper, at least you took something under his nail. We are here to find ways to make life easier for the others. And our what I call grace will come on its own. Not looking for a maglev system or a power system. We told the maglev system, I keep on telling you, look at these fields. When you go into the enhancement with the flight system, you cannot fly if you don't have a maglev system in the power position. In the plasma power, we use the fields. And we've shown it even in the vertical units. You physically see it. You look for the crop. We gave you the Rolls Royce. If you can't see it, not like this. We gave even the maglev systems you have. It just needs adjustment. You do. You can produce. Nobody listens. When we offer you the cascading, was the purpose to be done correctly, you have a generator. But if you cascade in the plasma system, you see the beauty of the God. But in the field strength, not in macro strength. When you go through certain enhancement units, flight system, don't touch anything. If you touch, we remove you immediately. Just sit and be set to do the job, to go through the experience. But just have a look. You see two maglevs around you. Any other question?
You mentioned earlier the phrase to travel freely is a right, basically. Could you talk about that a little more? Like, that would be, I assume, a universal phenomenon in the universe. Light rays travel freely, for example, until they encounter inertia of some sort. And I assume other entities travel freely as a right of the universe. Is that the way it works, or how would you explain it?
As life is the right, so is freedom to travel. We have restricted ourselves to time and space. When you travel in the dimension of soul, you don't have such a thing. When you travel in the dimension of the soul, there should be no limitation of where and who you cannot go and what you cannot do. It is a right, not a privilege. And you experience it. You will go through it. And should not be who tells you where to go, where not to go. Should not be a position that you abuse it just because you can use it, have the knowledge. And it has to become a privilege that you appreciate what you have. So, traveling the spread of the universe, traveling the surface of this planet, as I said once, should be the same as you go to the North Pole or the South. There are no customs, there are no governments to check you in, to check you out. It's the only positions on this planet where you, as citizen of this planet, you don't need a visa for.
Good day, Mr. Keshe. I'm Dan from Romania.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can you
If you
hear me?
could speak up a little, Dan, thanks.
Now it's better?
Yeah, that's a bit better, yeah.
Okay. Regarding the, let's say, not travel, it's not regarding the physical, it's passing, my question is, passing not only physical from point A to point B, or the strength field from point A to point B, lower or higher. Everything is passing through the center, which means the creator to center of the, if I look, let's say, plasma or space.
No, I understand what you're talking about. No.
It's two road, which means one is from A to B, but in same time by center, by the creator.
No, you don't get that privilege.
Okay.
You won't get that privilege.
I think into, which means it's created by two fields. Through the creator to the center, let's say, because I remember from shape of the graph, why is triangular? Because it's interconnected with the other, which means what I am connected with what it in the environment, in surround me, in the plasma level, not physical level. And my understanding is creating the connection between different points.
You
But
see,
also,
if you are sitting in London and you want to go to Paris, do you want to go through the center and come back again to Paris?
it's simultaneous.
There is no. I understand what you're trying to say, and I'm trying to explain to you in a very logical way. No, it's not just to go through the center. No, if I understood you correctly.
It's the dog chasing the tail. I understand. The two. One is first, one is second.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
You did mention earlier about arousing the emotion of love in this procedure of the sort of the initiation and the debriefing parts of the experience. So, in a way, wouldn't that be connecting with that center?
We all carry that center within us. It's not, I explained this quite a few times. Every atom has a center, every soul has a center. We carry that center, that's the strength of it. But if we can become aware of that center and go through it as us, it's a different ballgame. We are aware of it, but we are not, in a way, option to use it unless some do. If you live in the north of a country and the capital is south, do you always go to the capital before you go to the other spots in the north? Just because you know there is a capital? This people who, other people, souls who reach to level of the soul of creator, then they can go that. And it's not a privilege, it's that's a gift. Any other question? Or shall we call it a time? I've been here too long. I came here for a few minutes.
The time is relative, is limited.
Please go through understanding of, if you understand everything we taught in technology, from the very first beginning of the fields, the rays, the Uranian space travel, the magraphs, the GANS technology, the field, what they call interactions, putting all that together is what is with the flight system, within the flight system. We had to build all the parts before we could put the whole thing together. We brought in the enhancement units that are still there. We still build the enhancement units. But if you take a flight and what you need in the flight is done, what would be the next process of the magraph system? And how would we develop the next step? It goes back to what I said from many, many big times, beginning of the time. It's it's understanding the technology in totality that will bring us the change. And we have more or less taught enough on the matter stage and connection to the field and the plasma to bring you to this stage that we can go and we can take the next step. And a number of knowledge seekers who are ready for that change that will be going through the phase. It doesn't mean that we have to give every person in the villages of Amazon a new mobile phone for them to do, or one in Africa or wherever else. But we have to develop the next step. As we said, the introduction of the next cycle that you don't need to be will come where we can reach the soul of every element. It will take maybe a few more years, depending on what the governments and nations will go with it. Our biggest step, the biggest problem in the next step for us is restriction by governments of use of these technologies, that you can travel the span of this planet as you wish. They try to restrict it, and there's enough knowledge given that you can overcome it. When everybody has it, the control is not there to do. And we have shared the knowledge amongst enough people that cannot be silenced. We'll come to evolution in science and technology. We have come to evolution in science and technology. The four-wheeler man life finished as of last Saturday. The man to work through the wheels of the plasma and the soul of the man has started. It took man millions of years to get where they are. And now we can imagine how many millions of years will get man to get to the next step of the knowledge. Because even what we teach at this point and beyond is not the completion of the knowledge of the creation. is as much as the man can understand and the citizens of this universe can understand. Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you very much for being here. And hopefully we'll teach more tomorrow, or maybe understand more tomorrow.
Very good. Thank you so much for being here today, Mr. Keshe, and answering our questions and giving us some inspiration for what's coming up.
Let's see what comes up. But as I said, since Saturday we rapidly opened the second option on travel. Maybe very sooner we open the third option, the freedom of to travel point to point without coming through, as I said, a structure with certain minutes. But that needs a lot of understanding from our governments and political leaders. And maybe by the time they get so busy with that one, they forget about the works. Thank you very much. Thanks for today. Thank you very much for all your work, Rick.
You're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that was a lovely visit. Anybody would like to carry on with the